Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the HBCU Pigskin Show. We are here live just a little over a week until the NFL draft. It's snuck up on me, especially this year. Feels like I always count down the days, and then wow, we're in late April as we speak. So we've got a couple really special guests on tonight, both of whom hope to hear their name called a week from Saturday. First of which is none other than Corey Ramen, defensive back from Tennessee State. And, man, he has had a heck of a year, and he's got some incredible highlights. And I know I had a lot of fun watching him. I'm sure you guys had even more fun coaching him. And, man, definitely a guy I hope to see at the next level. So we've got Corey coming on hopefully in just a second. Coach Williams, Coach Grove, how are you guys doing this week?
You're doing great, Jackson. Nice to see you. Nice to see you too, Coach Grove. I'm glad to have Corey in here too.
Yeah, he's a fly around kind of guy.
There's no doubt about it. No doubt about it. If we can get Bobby to get him in there, is he in there?
Yeah, we still he's not there fully in the video yet.
Okay.
As soon as he pops up, I'll put him in.
Okay. Downside of a live show. So right there. But yeah, Coach Williams, Coach Grove, while we're waiting, any news, any scouts reached out to you or anything like that as we're approaching? I know that I don't think we had anyone in the top 30 visits or anything like that, but certainly guys are, wrapping up a very busy few weeks of training and interviews and all that. Didn't know if anyone had heard anything.
No, not necessarily. I mean, we haven't been communicating with the teams, not here lately. I mean, most of our contact has been with players and, they, whatever that things that they may need when it comes to film and different things like that. We've been definitely dealing with a lot of that. But other than that, man, just really holding out a lot of hope that we're going to see a bunch of these HBCU kids get a chance. I mean, the biggest thing is, obviously go through the draft process, hope we see more than the normal number, and then obviously really, really hoping to see a bunch of guys get some free agent shots. So
definitely. I'd be really surprised if it was, especially below, but the same number of HBCU prospects drafted in actual first 7 rounds. And I mean, we talk about it almost every week. This isn't the MLB where we have 30-something rounds of the draft. Most of your rookie class is going to be through UDFAs, at least for the initial. So, man, if these guys can get UDFA shots, keep up with all these. There's some tremendous, I don't know about the NFL media and NFL Network itself doing such a great job as far as keeping track of UDFAs and making it very public. But, man, there's some great team websites, our team fan sites, the diehards put together of which UDFAs are being signed. Man, just Google a few of these names because a lot of these guys, if not most of them, will be getting at least a UDFA shot and make it to the facility and get a shot there. And, hey, it doesn't really matter. Unless you were picked in the first 4 rounds where you're really guaranteed a spot on the roster, 5th round and beyond is probably, hey, you're all the same. Let's see what you can do. We brought you in here for a reason.
Yeah.
So.
I think I see Corey in the waiting room there. Yep. I think Bobby's going to get him in here. There he is. How you doing, Corey?
Good. How are you?
Doing just great. I'll let you start off, Jackson. I'm taking over host duties there.
Absolutely. Corey, how's it going? I sure appreciate you coming on.
Oh, yeah. It's good. I actually, for whatever reason, it wasn't showing my picture. So I had to log out and then log back in. So
you're good. It happens almost every week to one of us. So you're fine. You're fine. Corey, before we get started with football, Omar, one of our co-hosts, is unable to make it this week, but I need you to help us settle a debate that we're having. You are from Winter Garden, which is just outside of Orlando. Mm-hmm. Is it possible to go to Orlando and not go to Disney World?
I guess it depends on who you are, right? I mean, if that's your thing, if it's not, then I guess it is. But I would say it is 99% of people go to Disney World when they go to Orlando. So
Yeah.
unless you like the match.
And you know who's part of that 1%? Omar, my co-host. So
Yeah, well, I mean, Disney's cool. My mom actually, she worked for Disney.
Wow.
Awesome.
When I was growing up, so I was able to experience it, more often than most. So, I like it. It's, it's definitely it's an acquired taste, right? It's not for everybody, but it's cool. It's something cool to do. It's a big attraction.
That's right.
Definitely. That's awesome. Oh man, I gotta ask you. Speaking of locations that are highly visited, you got the chance to play in Canton at Tom Benson Stadium.
Oh yeah.
Really, the mecca of professional football. What's a lesson maybe you got to take away from there? Whether it's seeing a specific defensive back that you admired and learned a little bit from their shrines there, or just anything you took away from that week.
So first, I'll talk about the Hall of Fame video that they show, like, for everybody when they come in there. For us, it was during a team lunch that we had the day prior. But I'm drawing a blank on his name, but the big guy, he's the one who knocks on everybody's door.
David something.
Baker.
David Baker.
Baker. Yeah.
Yes. So he he gave us like a speech kind of before, and then he played the video. But shoot, like, as somebody who grew up playing football and having it be pretty much my entire life. I mean, I played other sports, but football was always the main thing. For somebody who grew up watching the game and being around it for all my years, just about, it like almost made me cry, for real. Like,
wow,
it was so impactful, that video. Like, if I don't know, have you guys gone?
Oh yeah.
Have you seen the video?
No, I hadn't seen the video. No.
Well, that video, like, it just goes to show how much time and effort and energy is put into this thing. And for those dudes to put that gold jacket on, like, like, I'm not even there. I'm like halfway there. But
right.
Shoot, it even, like, it made me want to cry. Like, I was tearing up because I just know how much effort that goes into it. And, like, just watching these dudes accomplish the pinnacle of sports, like the pinnacle of their athletic livelihood, putting on that gold jacket, it was so impactful. And just going through the facility, after we had ate lunch and watched the video, we got to walk through, and, like, you get to see the bus. You walk through, and it's just so cool. Like, it's dope how the artists are able to create it and how accurate it is.
Yeah.
One of my favorite players, Troy Polamalu, there was a game jersey. So I could put on the jersey. It was like, I was able to actually grab it and put it on. I was taking pictures, and, like, his bust got the hair too. It's like, it's so accurate. But that whole experience, that whole weekend was just like, yeah, it was amazing. And even the game too, like, we ended up losing, but, like, something in that game for me, like, that was the first time I ever made SportsCenter top 10. So it was like, I mean, it was funny because, I had people from my hometown, like, hit me up like, yo, I mean, like, do you see what happened? Like, that's crazy. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, I had no idea, because we had been on the plane because we flew.
Mm-hmm.
And they told me, they were like, I just saw you on SportsCenter top 10. So I was like, dang, like,
wow.
that was a life-changing moment. And like I said, just being at the Hall of Fame museum and all that was just amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully you knew what play right away when they said you had to play on top 10. Hopefully you knew which one.
Yeah, no, I knew what it was, because I mean, it was the only interception that I had in the game, and, like, and it was pretty crazy. And luckily, I'm gonna be humble about it. I might not have made it if it wasn't for the fact that it was that Sunday that is in between the preseason and the start of the NFL regular season. It was that dead Sunday. and we played on that Sunday. So that was like one of the best football highlights of the day. So that's probably why I ended up making it. But still, like that's a feather in the cap. Like I could say that I did it. So, but yeah, it was dope.
Absolutely. No, that's awesome. Man, you've got maybe my favorite stat line for a defensive back: 65 tackles, which, I mean, you are extremely productive, just a tackling machine. A few TFLs in there, which I always love seeing. And it's not just sacks. It's like you're hitting these running backs. Like, don't talk about safeties not getting involved in the run game. Like, you're flying down on a lot of these to hit them behind the line of scrimmage. And then only a few interceptions because guys don't want to throw at you. So it's understandable that you've only got a couple picks because, man, you cover them so well. Of course they don't want to throw you, right? So, man, I just want to say to have that and how fast you come downfield and how hard you hit, it's incredible to watch you, and you were just flying off of them. I thought there was one play, I don't remember, I was like, man, that looks like Brian Dawkins right there, like just like flying down the field to hit for a TFL on a run play. Yeah, man. I just want to ask you, there's so many safeties that honestly like come to mind with the level of how productive you are in tackling and how hard you hit. Is there a certain one that you always like to model your game after? You mentioned Troy Polamalu. Is there anyone else that you always like to think of?
Well, shoot, I'd like to commemorate the late great, the OG 26, and I'm talking about his college number, but Sean Taylor.
Yeah.
Growing up a Florida boy, Sean Taylor was, a mythological creature to us growing up. And I grew up like as a kid. I mean, I don't know what kids nowadays look at, but I was searching like on YouTube. This is when YouTube first like really came out and got popular. I would like search like biggest hits of the year or like highlight videos. That's all I would watch on YouTube. And that's how I'd fill my time. And a lot of that was Sean Taylor highlights back when he was in college. And then, when he ended up going to the pros and then, the tragedy when he ended up passing away. But, him kind of, coming into my life, not physically, but just like through the YouTube videos and his highlights, it was just like, that's what set the tone for me. So, and my dad always used to tell me, when I was growing up playing football as a young kid, he would tell me that if you don't hit somebody as hard as you can, you're going to get hurt. So that's kind of the philosophy that I always had. Like, and, it doesn't matter. Like, I miss a few tackles. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm perfect, but I'm going to shoot my gun. Like, no question about it. And if I connect, it's not going to feel good. So, I mean, that's just kind of the mentality that I have as far as the tackling goes and who I model myself after. It's just like Sean Taylor, like when he would hit people, like, he would just kill people. Like, he was one of the hardest hitting safeties probably ever. So if not the. So yeah, that's kind of who I look at.
And I think maybe Sean Taylor, we all know the Pro Bowl play where he comes down and hits, I think it's on a fake punt, especially compared to the Pro Bowl now, it really stands out. And I think maybe his college days at Miami get overshadowed because of Ed Reed and just how much of a hard hitter he was as well. But people forget. I love that you brought that up. Being a Florida boy, about Sean Taylor and his man, it was his whole time at the with Washington, the Commanders. So yeah, no, absolutely. Corey, I'm gonna go ahead and pass you along too. I don't know which way we're going. I'll go to you.
I'll get mine out of the way first. Yeah. And first of all, I just want to say, man, how much we appreciate you coming on. I mean, it's an honor to sit with you and just really, really, excited that you're willing to come on and talk to us, man. I'm excited to meet you, and from watching the film, man, and you fly around, man, you are all over the place on the film. I compare you to Tyrann Mathieu, man. I don't know if that's a comparison that you like or not, but I see you all around the ball all the time. Just when people say ball hawk, I mean, people just throw that term out there. You know what I mean? People say hard hitting ball hawk, and they just throw it out there. But you truly live up to what those words mean, man. And when you talk about popping off the film, I mean, it's just it's an amazing thing to watch. I mean, you are clearly one of the most dominant guys in all of HBCU football. There's no doubt about that. And I think my question to you, coming out, I've done a whole lot of homework on you. Watch you do some interviews before. I know before you transferred, you were thinking that, hey, CFL might be my window, right?
Mhm.
How much has that changed based on all this stuff that's happening for you now? Where's your mind at now when it comes to compared to where it was then?
Oh, it's changed completely. Like
Mhm.
it's just amazing. Like just going back, I played 4 years at Southeastern University in Lakeland. It's an NAIA school. For those that don't know, but just like the expectation. It's almost like the NFL. It's not even a possibility. And it's like, yeah, some dudes end up making it, but I mean, it's so few. It's not even in the realm of possibility. But transferring to Tennessee State for my COVID year, the fifth year because of the shortened season in 2020, yeah, the 2020 season that was shortened. Coming to Tennessee State and like experiencing real professional football because I've said this before on a couple other interviews, but Tennessee State really is like NFL prep school because every coach on the staff has NFL ties. If not a player, they coached, and most of them did both.
Yeah.
And it's like they really run the program like a professional program. And I got all the insight that I needed, to prepare me for this moment. And all I had to do was just put it together on tape. And, luckily I was able to be healthy during the year and I was able to do that. But yeah, so, shoot, I forget. Where was I going with that? What was the question again?
Yeah, I was talking about, I was talking about you comparing yourself to thinking that CFL was your height.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, just like I was saying, with Tennessee State, like having so many NFL ties and connections, like I really got a good insight into know like, shoot, this actually is like a real possibility. Not only because of the connections they have, but just because of the stage and all the information they're able to share with me about like, kind of what it takes to succeed at that level. And it's something I know I could do. So yeah, the way that the mindset changed was before when I was at Southeastern, I didn't even think it was possible to go to the NFL. I just thought like, yeah, CFL, like that's probably the best I could do out of an NAIA school. But now the CFL, like at this point, isn't even a question. Like that's not even something that's thought about. Like this,
right.
Like, I'm like the draft is coming up, regardless of what happens, like I'm going to be in somebody's camp in the fall. Like it's not even up for debate.
Absolutely.
That right there is just such a blessing. And it's like, I can't believe that I'm even saying that. If I told myself, if I said that a year ago, if I said that, oh yeah, I was talking to myself. I said, oh, you'd be in an NFL training camp a year from now.
Yep.
I would have said you're crazy.
That's right. No, I get it, man. I mean, that was my next question, man. It's like, when people they talk about the kid out of FAMU, they talk about the kid out of Fayetteville State. I mean, if you're a real HBCU football guy or a football person that's really evaluating this stuff, that you right there with those guys, you're one of those guys that basically can go to sleep at night and wake up in the morning knowing that you're going to get this opportunity. You're just trying to figure out, hey, is it going to be a draft pick? Is it going to be, you know, that you're going into an NFL opportunity? So my question, it's funny you were saying that, but my next question was, how does that feel when you're moving around in your everyday life right now, and the things that you're doing and the people you're around? I mean, how does that feel to know that, man, I put myself in this position, and this is going to happen as an opportunity for me?
So I would say, like the way it feels, I'm not really like living in the moment right now. It's crazy. Like I said, like if I sit back and really think about like where I've come from and the journey that I've been on, it's unreal. Like it's something like I could write a book about. Like,
yeah.
It's just crazy what I've been able to accomplish. But it's almost like I can't even think about just sitting back and reflecting on it because there's still so much work left to be done. It's like, you know, I can't. It's almost like we're starting from square one.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, I have this opportunity. It's a blessing, like no doubt about it. But there's so much unfinished business. Like, you know, I got to get in training camp. I got to do my thing. I got to make a 53 man. Boom. Yep. Make a 53 man. I got to stay healthy all year. You know, be available, because if somebody goes down, I got to be ready to step in.
Yeah.
And when that's when you look across the league at a lot of guys that were undrafted free agents or, you know, higher on draft picks, like they got their opportunity because somebody else got hurt, or, you know, it's just about the timing, right place, right time. So I'm looking forward and thinking like, you know, there's so much work that's still left to be put in that I can't even really sit back and think like about how crazy it is. Cause, you know, I'm really not satisfied with where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
You know, there's so much more left to be done. I got to keep writing this story.
That's right. 100%. No doubt about it. How do you feel about this resurgence of HBCU football? Are you one of those guys that's going to always champion what's happening and always, you know, kind of support what's going on in the cause of HBCU football? Do you see yourself having that long career, but always reaching back to make sure that attention still goes on to those guys?
Oh, 100%. Because there's so much heritage in HBCU football that people don't know about. And I didn't know about it until I got there. Right. Yeah. So, and a lot of that needs to be shared with everybody. And I think it's such a great thing, like with what Deion's doing at Jackson State, what Coach George is doing at TSU, and our old OC Hugh Jackson over at Grambling now. Like, there's some real buzz around HBCU football, and it's clear because, I mean, dude, like, we're gonna have more HBCU guys drafted this year than probably the last 10 years combined.
Yes.
And all of that is because of the contributions that, you know, some of the important people have made, like who I just mentioned, and beyond. Like, there's going to be so much opportunity, and I think it's great because it gives a lot of guys, you know, I wouldn't even just say HBCU, but just smaller school guys. It gives them the platform they need to show that, like, we got some dogs too. Like,
that's right.
You know, I went to the NFLPA Bowl, and it's not much different. Like, you can really see that you could play at that same level. And I think it's great. And I think more guys at this level need to have that platform and have that same opportunity that I was able to have to showcase and see somebody with, you know, a helmet on that's from a Power 5 school, and just looking at him like he's the same dude that I am. Like, he's no different.
That's right.
It's like, I think a lot of guys need that opportunity.
There's no question about that. No question. You're gonna represent HBCU as well. I mean, there's no doubt about that. And people will be watching. And I think, I mean, the more people get to know you, and this is leading me to my next question, the more fans you're gonna gain, the more people say, hey, this is an NFL guy. I mean, so I guess, you know, in your mind, I mean, what was the moment, you know, I mean, I'm talking about the football moment that changes the trajectory of where you're going. I mean, what do you think? I mean, right now, I mean, people are considering you as one of those guys that's going to be one of those sleeper guys that gets into the draft, along with all these kids that they've been talking about. So what was that football moment that opened everybody's eyes? Like, Corey can play, man. We got to evaluate Corey. I mean, what was that moment? When did it happen?
Shoot, I think the first moment was, if we really want to go back, the first moment was just me transferring to Tennessee State for my last year.
Mm-hmm.
And then you fast forward, I jumped on the scene right away in our first game against Grambling.
Mm-hmm.
With the interception that was on SportsCenter top 10. So, and then after that, I just had a stretch through the first like 4 or 5 games that was really good. Minus one game, I really didn't get to do much because we played Kentucky State and they ran the triple option.
Yeah.
And I think I only played like the first half maybe of the game, but it was that game wasn't much to do.
Mm-hmm.
But in all the other ones, I mean, I just built my resume even in the first 5 games of the season. That was like, dang, like this dude's putting some real good stuff on tape in all facets of the game, talking about tracking the ball in the back end, coming up, fitting the run, like all aspects of it. And I think that as you proceed then through the season, I had a few plays that just like shake the screen.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, when those I got to add those to it, and then to put the cherry on top, you know, playing Mississippi State, I put some really good stuff on tape against Mississippi State. So I think that bodes well with a lot of scouts and anybody who's watching the tape. That's like, okay, so not only did this dude put I put together like in you know, not even trying to blow smoke or toot my own horn, but I put together more film in 1 year than dudes put together before.
Hey, it's true. That's true. It's 100% true.
I had 1 year at TSU. You look at the Tennessee State highlights, that is one season.
Mm-hmm.
I put together a full season and stayed healthy. And then I think that, you know, you compile all that together. It's a lot of moments. I can't really just say one.
Yeah.
But just, you know, you go through it chronologically.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think that there's probably 4 or 5 that was like, okay, like, you know, this dude's jumping on the scene.
Yeah, no doubt. My last question, you know, just to kind of get a feel for what you're doing now. I mean, there's the preparation piece, the training piece. I mean, what's that looking like, and who you doing that with?
So I'm actually training at Tennessee State, and you know, this is another plug just for the program and the university.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, they took such good care of me. Like, I could not ask for more, like, or a better situation. I mean, I train every day with the strength staff.
Mm-hmm.
After I train, I go and I get treatment with the athletic training staff. I go home, I work on my homework for my master's classes. Nice. That they're letting me do. It's like I can't, and none of it that I'm coming out of pocket for anything. So it's like, what more could you possibly ask for? Like, you know, I'm in the best situation, and it's only right for me to make the most of it, and put on for the university and put on for HBCUs. So, that's kind of what my day is looking like, and in the training aspect of it. But I don't think the training could be any better. It's just a good situation.
That's right, man. Hats off to Eddie George and the staff, and like you said, that's a major plug for the program. If you want to get into one of the better HBCUs, right, and program that's doing it right,
it's I think it's the only HBCU with an indoor facility. Just throwing that out.
Hey, there you go. Yeah, so that's my question, Coach Grove. You got anything?
Yeah, I got just one, Claude. Like Coach said, thank you for coming on. We appreciate you, man. And I'm a defensive guy, man. I watched the film. The only film I watched was from Tennessee State, and when you see flying around, you cover all the check marks. You got the range, decision making, the pre-snap, not being, out of position one way or the other. You know what I mean? Because it only takes a few steps. Coming down, filling all the alleys. I mean, everything you do is like coming off the screen. The blitz packages, everything is on point. You come down and you give a solid knock, and you're not afraid to put your head in there with a bigger guy. My thing would be, you've acquired all the accolades. You know what that is, right? So 6'2", 195, coming from college, the transition, all right? So in your mind, psychologically, what do you think you have to do to be the safety that somebody brings in to get ready prep-wise? Like you say, you're training to be a safety that doesn't have to come off the field. You know what I mean? So to be a safety, at that college level, you come in, you stick your head in there, but when you got 250, 255 coming at you, what do you have to do to get prepared for that transition from college to what you're going to see in the NFL in your mind?
Right. So from a physical aspect, I don't think that there's much more that I would have to do. I would say the only physical thing that is super important is just going to be the availability. Like, I got to stay healthy, and it's always been that way. Right. So kind of what I was talking about before, it's like, shoot, if I'm going to be the dude that's going to stay on the field, don't get hurt. Right. And for the dudes for the dudes that are ahead of me, they do get hurt. Right. Like, if I come in, if they get hurt, I come in, ball out for 4 games, do the same exact thing, maybe better than what they did. Like, their job's in jeopardy now. So it's like, the availability is the biggest thing for me. And also from a mental aspect, just getting in the playbook and knowing where I'm supposed to be, when I'm supposed to be there. I think those two, the availability and just knowledge of the game and the playbook, is what's going to allow me to be a guy that's going to stay at a position, and be a productive starter.
Yeah, I mean, because I see everything. I mean, even the transition from the back to open it up, catching routes, coming underneath, or going over the top. I mean, the flexibility in the hips to be able to move, and then to trail somebody and still get your head around, track the ball. I mean, not a lot of people can do that consistently. You know what I mean? So having that skill set is going to benefit you. But yeah, that's the only question I had. What were you thinking? With the speed and the size difference that's going to change, and what you needed to do to get prepared for that. Yeah, that's the only thing. But everything that I see, it jumps off the screen. Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Corey, you mentioned the Mississippi State game. Maybe NFL teams aren't sending as many scouts as they should to Tennessee State, but I guarantee you they sent some scouts to watch Mekhi Polk and walked away knowing Corey Ramen is the name to watch in the future, right? So, man, some of your best plays of the year were against Mississippi State. Obviously, Power 5 team and stuff like that. So, man, awesome stuff. Corey, you're so generous with your time. I really appreciate you coming on. And hey, you won't get everything from the Pigskin Showdown and all that. And I appreciate you taking that to the next level with you.
Yeah, I appreciate
it. Clear up one thing, Corey. I mean, I've heard it pronounced a lot of different ways. I've heard it pronounced Ramen. How do you pronounce it?
So it's pronounced Raymond.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I'm sorry about that.
No. It's cool. Like, the way I see it, if I didn't know, I would say Ramen. So, if somebody asks, I tell them, the proper pronunciation is Raymond. But if you say Ramen, it doesn't offend me. It's going to be said Ramen my entire life, so I'm not going to waste my energy trying to correct people, because I would say Ramen if I didn't know.
Right. I get that. Yeah,
that's cool.
Man, we appreciate you big time. We're gonna be big fans of you. You always responded to us when we send you a message through Twitter. You've been a follower of ours. We're huge fans, man. So when you make it and we send you that text that says good luck, make sure you respond back to us, bro.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, good luck, man. 100%.
All right, appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, take care.
Have a good one, man. Thank you. Yeah.
I'd be surprised if we're all watching NFL Network a week from Saturday and we don't see his name pop up on there.
Yeah.
Because, man, like you guys talked about, like he said, there's going to be so many more HBCU prospects that are going to be drafted this year than in years past. And yes, there are some defensive backs that are getting more attention as far as HBCU prospects in the draft, but he's up there if you're actually evaluating the all 22 on there. So
yeah, not about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Our next guest is going to be a defensive lineman that arguably has just incredible tape as well. Rafiq Abdul Wahid, the defensive lineman from Chowan University, originally from Baltimore, coming down to, I believe, in North Carolina, in the hills there, and put on some incredible tape. So hopefully Rafiq is in the room waiting. The waiting room.
I believe he is.
There we go. We got him.
Hey, how you doing?
Rafiq, how's it going?
How you doing? Y'all can hear me?
We got you. How you doing?
Hey, I'm good. How y'all doing?
We got you.
Great. Awesome, man.
Good, Rafiq.
What's up? How y'all doing tonight? What y'all got going on? I'm sitting here watching this playoff game, watching Boston. They putting a beat down on Brooklyn right now.
You started out, Jason.
Absolutely. Rafiq, first of all, thanks so much for coming on. I sure appreciate you supporting us here.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Man, you're originally from Baltimore. Have you thought about the chance to maybe, get a contract and go back home? They definitely need help on defensive line. So, man.
I think about that every day. Being a Baltimore fan, I grew up watching, Flacco versus the Steelers in his first year, AFC Championship, them putting us out. They put us out again, I think, the next year. We played them twice a year, We weren't good back then, so they was beating us. So I feel like I'm already a part of the organization, if you ask me. I got that same animosity towards everybody else in the AFC North like they do. So, yeah, definitely. I definitely think about that all the time.
If anything, you'll just get faster because you have to chase down Lamar Jackson every day. So
definitely.
Man, you compared your play to Khalil Mack. And man, what are some ways that Mack has inspired your game? And what have you learned from him about being a better pass rusher?
Well, it's just he showed me that I'm able to make a real impact with being a run-first type of player as well. You know what I'm saying? Of course, you're going to see the pass rush, and that's what's going to pop up on ESPN, top 10. But when you watch him every down, you see how he handles the run, how he, retreats the screens, runs to the ball. It's just something I like to see. It's beautiful to me, honestly. It's beautiful to me to see the way he plays the game, just being a run-first kind of guy.
I love that. I've never thought about that before, but that's a really good point, and something I'm definitely going to have to watch out for when he plays in Los Angeles this upcoming year. Rafiq, man, nothing is more important to defensive linemen than get off. How have you been working that in, I guess not really the offseason program, but in preparing for the draft and all that?
Just lifting and stuff. I've been getting a lot of sand workouts in. When you talk about get off, the sand helps with resistance, a lot of pool workouts, and really just explosiveness, honestly.
Exactly. No, I love that. The sand workouts are always good. Resistant bands, I know, are a pretty popular one. And man, swimming in a pool is a legit workout. You will feel tired, and that's just swimming. I'm not even working out in a pool. So
Exactly.
Yeah, man. Rafiq, I'm going to pass it along to Coach Williams, but, man, I can't wait to see we were just saying about Corey. Also, can't wait to see your name pop up on NFL Network a week from Saturday, hopefully, as we're watching the draft. So, hopefully to Baltimore, too.
Definitely, hopefully.
That's right.
Yes, sir. Coach Williams, all yours.
Yep. Well, once again, Rafiq, man, you just like our first guest, man, have always responded to us, and we appreciate you coming on. Nothing but respect for you having the respect to come on and talk to us. So we're excited to have you, man.
I appreciate it. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah. From watching your film, man, I'm going to tell you, watching your tape, the thing that popped off to me, first of all, you're really heavy-handed, strong defensive lineman. And you can play on the interior. You can get on the outside edge and rush. But the thing that showed me that you had athleticism, next level athleticism. I mean, you sometimes will beat when you're playing like a 3 tech. You know, sometimes you on more than a few occasions, you will beat your guy to the inside, which is almost like the cardinal rule of things that people tell you not to do on a pass
Not to
rush.
do.
Right.
Yeah.
And then once the quarterback, breaks contain, I have never seen a big guy, change directions, take that inside move, change directions, and still be able to make the play on the quarterback, man. So I mean, do you understand what that looks like on film when that's happening? Do you understand the athleticism that it takes to still be able to make that work, or is that just a natural thing? I'm just playing ball.
Yeah, it's all of those things. First of all, it's athleticism, it's playing ball, but when you play a defensive line, I feel like it just all comes down to want to. You know what I'm saying? You can have all these tools and stuff, but if you don't want to do it, if you don't really want to do it, if you don't have the desire, then it ain't gonna show up. You know what I'm saying? The way you just described it. You know what I mean? So I think it just all comes down to all those things, and then just the want to, the desire. Like I said, that's all defense is at the end of the day: desire.
That's right, 100% right. Well, it's pretty impressive when you watch it, man. I mean, like I said, it's not just a fluke. I mean, I see it showing up, numerous times on the film, which tells me that that's a consistent thing that you could do. The other thing that stands out to me is when we were getting into evaluating HBCU kids this year. We were talking to coaches in the CIAA, and man, and I'm telling you, almost every coach that we talked to would tell man the D lineman down there at Chowan, man. I mean, that kid can play, and I mean, they all talk about you, even when you're talking to them about their kids on their team. So, what's that like for you to have that respect of the opponent, man? I mean, did you realize that people feel highly about you like that, or was that like to know that that's the case?
I mean, it's a blessing. That's all you really look for. I feel like, you want to have the respect of your opponent, because that always means you're doing something right. If they can be man enough to tell somebody, you know what I'm saying, tell a person outside of the organization or the league, such as yourself, about how they feel about a player from the opposing team, that just goes to show that you're doing something right. So it's very flattering. It's very, you know what I'm saying, I take that, you know what I'm saying, that helps me. That's a confidence booster. Definitely.
No doubt about it. I mean, and I got to ask you, when, during your process, trying to get ready for the draft, trying to finish up a good, strong senior season, obviously for you to get that invite down to play in the Legacy Bowl, that should have been a moment that told you that you were on the pro map. Like, people know who I am. I mean, if you didn't know, everybody was talking about you before that invite should have let you know that was the case. So when you went down to the game and got yourself in that mix with the other folks, and where did you feel like you stood? I mean, when you're looking at your competition and guys that play my position, where do you stand in this whole HBCU recruiting process?
One of the best.
Yeah.
Point blank period.
Absolutely.
One of the best.
That's right. I mean, you got a sack in the game, right?
Yeah. I did.
Yeah.
It was
right.
It was a great experience, though, for real. It was a great experience, definitely. And you always look forward to being around a good group of guys, because you can always learn. You know what I'm saying? Going to an all-star game is nothing if you don't learn anything. So I feel like I went down there and I learned a lot from the players that was around me, from the players I played against, the coaches, great coaching staff. So yeah, it was definitely a great experience.
That's right. I mean, and like I said, and you went down there and you performed, and could you feel that, in some of the interviews, and you don't have to call any team names, but did you get some interaction from some teams and get a chance to talk to some folks there?
I did. Not as much as I wanted to. Just being honest, I didn't really understand the entire meeting with scouts process. You know what I'm saying? I didn't really understand it as much, but I did get a chance to interact with a few teams. I do know some teams know my name, so I just felt like as long as I can get down there and get my name on somebody's clipboard, I feel like I did my job.
That's right. No doubt about that. I mean, now when it comes to, your thought process of where you stand in the process, I mean, between where you at when does it matter to you if it's a draft pick, or if I get in as an undrafted free agent, if I have to go work my way through a rookie mini camp? I mean, does that matter to you how you get in, just as long as you get an opportunity?
As long as I get in, yeah, everything I done got. You know what I'm saying? It been the steps. It ain't never been the elevator. So I'm me personally speaking, I'm not even looking at the draft to get drafted. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking for I'm looking for the way to take the stairs. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's
that's
how
right.
it's always been, and I just feel like it ain't gonna change now. So yeah, definitely.
That's right. That's right. Now I'm backing up a little bit off yourself as a prospect, but I know Chowan isn't officially an HBCU, but you guys played an HBCU conference, and
Mm-hmm.
so obviously everybody sees you guys as one of an HBCU school. What's that like on the Chowan campus? I mean, do Chowan folks have that same level of respect for the HBCU history and all that thing, even though not necessarily an HBCU?
Yeah, definitely. We're definitely aware of the history and aware of all the talent and all of the greatness that comes from just the HBCU culture. We're definitely aware of it. Like you said, playing the HBCU league, we get to see it up front. The
Yeah.
amount of talent that we have in that league alone. That's just one HBCU league. We got a lot of talent in that league. So yeah, I would say we definitely respect it and we definitely aware of it. You know what I
Right.
mean?
That's right. That's right. So what's going on as far as your prepping and training and getting yourself ready to take some steps? I mean, what's happening now?
Well, when I was home, I was training with some guys from my high school in the gym every day. And a few weeks ago, I decided to sign with an IFL team, Green Bay Blizzard, to play some arena just to get some more film. And I
Mhm.
figured since the season was going through the summer, ends around August time, I figure I
Yep.
can get some film. And you know what I'm saying? If I get a call, I get a call. But you know what I'm saying? I can still play ball right now. So
Right. Right.
that's what I just figured that was the best decision for me
That
at the
was.
moment.
That's right. That's not a bad decision at all. I mean, we've got long history. We've been in the Arena Football League and been around. Even spent some time at the Green Bay Blizzard, and I'll tell you that's a really smart decision, because for you to get film and for you to add on to your portfolio and add on to your package and continue to get film, continue to work, and not only that, it shows scouts, hey, this guy really wants to play, and this guy's really trying to show us the whatever those improvements may be that you're trying to make. So that's a smart
Absolutely.
move. And we spent 20 years between, most of that was in arena football leagues, but it was we really felt really like we stood out when it came to helping guys get to the NFL, get to the CFL. And one of those major things that was always the thing that those guys did better or thought better than most guys in the same situation is that you
Mhm.
got to go get that film. If you feel like I need to go get that film and show people those reps, then
Right.
that all works out for you, man. So I would
Exactly.
imagine there's a lot of people in the NFL offices that are impressed with the fact that you're doing that. So I think you made the right move, and you're gonna be all right, man.
Absolutely.
Do you carry an agent right now? If you don't mind me asking, you don't have to tell me a name, but do you have an agent?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So obviously that agent understands that this is a good move for you to make. So you got some really good advice on that. So that's a good piece for that too. So man, I'm gonna pass it over to Coach Go.
Okay.
Yeah. How you doing, Rafiq?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm all right. I'm going to add to what Coach was saying because all my time spent in an arena game, coaching with Coach and under him. That's the smartest thing I've heard uh, college kids say in a long time. You know what I mean? That I'm in a process to go to the NFL, but I'm smart enough to know that I need to keep getting film and to go to an indoor league or what people consider minor leagues, right? So
Mhm.
whoever put that on your shield or put it on your chest, that's a really smart move. Stay healthy in that process, but smart, really smart move. Just know that.
Mhm.
All right. So my thing was I would ask you, Coach kind of went through the numbers with you. I would ask you at what point in your football process, whether it's college, high school, or a combination of the both, that you knew that you would be able to compete to go or play outside of college, NFL, CFL, Arena League, whatever. At what point did you know that for real?
Well, that's a good question. That's a good question because I don't even think I can truly pinpoint a moment. I just know once I got into college, you know what I'm saying, no matter what this guy's doing, no matter what his stats are, no matter what his stats are, I just always liked me. You know what I'm saying? I could turn on the film like, wow, I did that. You know what I'm saying? That looks good. Even though I'm always trying to get better, I can always look at myself and always be, you know what I'm saying? I always like me, like I said. So coming into my senior season, I knew it was a good chance. You know what I'm saying? Pretty much had the steps laid out, got a ball out, of course. You know what I'm saying? I want to make the playoffs. Didn't really get to do that, but I wanted to make the playoffs just, you know what I'm saying, get on that big scale, play some different Division II teams to try to get on some more radars. And, I kind of got lost right there on the question, but, just really.
When did you know?
Like, yeah. I just really, I can't even, I don't even know if I could tell you that because I just, you know what I'm saying? I figured I like what I'm doing. I know what I'm putting on tape. And along the way, you might have a scout here, a scout there. I know we had some scouts come down to our school, talk to us and stuff. And, you know, I just took little bits and pieces of stuff, you know, what a scout would say, or like maybe getting invited to a bowl game here or talking to an agent there. I just always say, okay, if I'm making progression, I'll know it because of that. And if I'm making progression, you know what I'm saying, I'm moving in the right direction. So as long as I'm moving forward, I'll have a shot. As long as I can get in front of the right people and play football, I have a shot. I may not have the 40 time or the 3 cone or this, that, and the third, but I know if I got around the right people playing football, I would have a shot.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's good. The second part of that would be, if you had to share something with an incoming freshman that was coming in and share something about your story that would help that incoming freshman as you were processing out, what part of your life story in football would you share with that individual or those individuals as you exit the program?
I would tell them one thing, and I would tell them that it's attainable. Everything you want is attainable. You just got to work for it. You just got to be confident and keep going and not stop. You know what I'm saying? That's really all I would say. I would leave them with that. It's attainable. That's what I tell some of the guys coming in the show on now. They like to talk to me, you know what I'm saying, get advice. And I tell them it's attainable. You know what I'm saying? You just got to work. You just got to want it. It's not going to be easy. Never said it was going to be easy, but it's attainable. It's possible, you know?
That's all I got for you, Rafiq, man. We wish you nothing but the best, man.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. Before Jackson wraps it up, I just want to say this one other thing. But I think, you know, if you're rating HBCU guys and you are an HBCU guy playing an HBCU conference, if scouts are rating HBCU guys, you would definitely be a kid that is on that list of guys that should get some type of opportunity. So if you look, you know, this guy may be able to play, this guy, you know, may have some things that he needs to correct. But when you start talking about, you know, giving HBCU kids an opportunity, you have all those traits that should get you some sort of an opportunity at the next level, man. So you just you stay on the grind. We're gonna be pulling like crazy for you, and just wishing you all the best of luck, man. So we're gonna stay in touch with you. We're gonna bother you sometimes and say hello and good luck and all that stuff. But I got a feeling you're gonna get a chance to get in the building, and I'm just gonna tell you, once you get in the building, don't let them kick you out, man. Don't do.
Ain't no looking back. Ain't no looking back.
That's right, 100%.
Rafiq, just a couple things before we wrap up here. Looking at some of your stats, you've got 4 games with at least 2 TFLs, which is, I'm just going to throw this out there, 2 more games than Thibodeau had last year. So just saying, consistently very productive on the field and getting there in the backfield. And Rafiq, I think we'd all be surprised if you didn't make it to the league, the big league in some capacity, right, where we're seeing you play in August and contribute beyond in September and beyond. But if you ever find yourself on the Tampa Bay Vipers in the XFL, I'll be the first to buy your jersey as a Vipers fan. Just throwing that out there.
I got you. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Rafiq, that's all for me. You've been so generous with your time. I really appreciate you coming on.
Thank you,
Appreciate you
Rafiq.
guys. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah,
Take care.
yeah. Good luck to you.
All right, man. Y'all take it easy.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
A couple really great prospects that we have, and man, hope the both are hope for the best for both of them, for Corey and Rafiq coming up here. So
Absolutely. Jackson,
Yeah.
if I can spring one on you, because we got a couple minutes here left before we hit the hour mark, but if I can spring one on you, we had a really good interaction, probably one of our better interactions in one of our polls when we were rating defensive backs and HBCU defensive backs. So I think Bobby may have the slide, but if we get in, can we take a look at that? You guys want to just make a little, yeah. So
yeah, let's see.
yeah, this was one of the more polarizing polls that we had. I mean, we've only got one more position to do, which would be linebacker. But when you start talking about defensive back, it really sparked a lot of interest and people interacting and sharing some opinions on that. But if I'm looking at the list, man, I when you talk about the Kobe Durant's, there's Marquise Bell, Joshua Williams, those are the guys that consensus of most people would think those are the guys that are going to get, the best draft looks. But then when you start looking at the rest of the list, I mean, what I see in Alvin De La Rosa, who's one of our guys, I look at Al Young and look at Corey Raymond, and even, all of these guys on this top 10 are guys that I think it's going to be hard to keep these guys out of some sort of a training camp opportunity, man. I mean, there's probably as many as what we thought would be as many as 25, even 30 guys that would have a legitimate claim to wanting to be in the top 10 or could argue that they should be in the top 10. But when you're looking at this group of 10, kind of like when we look at the quarterback position, I think consensus, thoughts say that there's a lot of separation, but I don't know that there's really that much separation between, guy number 1 and guy number 10, at least when it comes to getting an opportunity to get in. So that's my thought on that. But I think this is a really strong group of defensive backs coming out of HBCU. I really like the D-line position, but I also think the DB position, whether it be safety or corner, is going to be a position we're going to see a whole lot of guys get some type of opportunity, just like the D-line.
Yeah. And I would say that would probably be consistent with, 25, 30 years ago, defensive backs and special team guys coming out of HBCUs, so that's a good group of guys.
This group has so much depth because I'm looking at one of the players that we got to interview and that I've been buying stock in this whole draft process is Alvin De La Rosa. And I look at him and he's 4. I'm like, man, he's higher than 4. Like, come on, like Alvin is surely gonna get a shot. And I look at Joshua Williams and Marquise Bell and Jacoby Durant. It's like, it's hard to put him above any of those guys, but I'm very high on him nonetheless. So it's like, man, this is a deep group. Al Young is going to get a shot being a corner that's been under Dion for the past few years. And then we just interviewed Corey Raymond, who is a phenomenal safety, a hard hitter, and not afraid to get involved in the run game. And man, he's going to get a shot. And same thing with CJ Holmes being from Jackson State and all that. So, man, this is a deep group, and I can't wait to see these guys. Not going to lie, I'm more excited for Alvin than maybe anyone. Alvin and Corey as we interview both of them. But, man, I'm excited for all these guys. I believe Durant and Bell were both combine invites, so you'd be surprised to see them not drafted. And then a couple of these guys too, man. I'd be surprised if they didn't get their, not only a shot but their name called before Mr. Irrelevant is picked. So
yeah, that's right. One other thing that stood out to me, just on a coaching front, and this is our top 10, right? I mean, other people's top 10 may look different, but I was really want to give a shout out to, what's happening with that DB coaching at South Carolina State, Fayetteville State, and Jackson State. All 3 of those schools getting 2 guys on our top 10, and all of their guys aren't even draft eligible. So you got to be talking about, some really high level defensive back coaching is happening based on affecting this list for sure. So those coaches and those programs got to be proud of these kids, and I would imagine they're pulling just as hard, if not harder, for these kids to get these opportunities as we are.
Yeah.
And defensive backs, like, you can never have too many defensive backs. Like, look, as a Bucks fan, like, I know that I learned that the hard way last year, having so many injuries in the secondary, but also with how versatile they are on special teams too, which is where most of these guys are going to make their money and at least get their shot on their rosters because of their contributions to special teams. So with how versatile they can be on there, and how when they do see the field as their, assigned position as a corner or a safety, they can make plays there too. And at the very least, maybe they're not hitting another Sports Center top 10 for Corey, but at the very least, they're not a liability. And I have a hard time seeing any of these guys as a liability when they line up.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes, sir. Well, Coach Williams, Coach Grove, unless you guys have anything else, I think that wraps it up for this week. TBD on if we have another edition of the HBCU Pigskin Show, as it is the eve of round 1 of the NFL draft. So we'll figure that out. But yeah, thank you guys for putting this on once again. And man, this year has been fun, and I know it's been leading up to next week and next weekend. So can't wait to see these guys get their name called.
That's right. Absolutely. Thank you guys for hanging out with us, man. We'll figure out what we're gonna do in the next show. We'll definitely come back and do wrap up after the draft for sure. So see you guys.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah,
definitely. That's the fun part, where these guys, where their fit is on their new teams, right? So
that's right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys. And since Omar isn't able to close us out, peace, love, and soul, everyone.
That's right. Have a good night.